Hi, this is the copy of my Power of Now today, and it's the what we're gonna be talking about. Welcome, and I really appreciate tuning for you to tune in here. And today we're gonna be explaining the summary of the book of the Power of Now. What is it that is really going on the Power of Now? We know Eckhart Tolle is a spiritual teacher. His books have been published for over 20 years from now. It just get popular through this time because we're just in the time where this galactic alignment and its age of information, so it get well exposed to us. So what's happening on this book? Let's check it out quick. The first thing that you have to know when we're talking about the power of now, from the title itself, we already figure it out. We talk about the power that is happening in the now. When we're in the present moment, the present state, what is really for us. When we talk about the power of now, it's a book that it teaches us to be more aware, like the awareness of being in a present state, in a present moment, just be in a flow, and it explain the way how we can channel, how we can tune to the present state, how a person can not identify, because there's a chapter I think is the first chapter that just talks about you're not your mind, and that's the first step that you got to understand that we're not our mind at all. And the moment when you identify with your mind, you identify with something that you're not. You identify with just pure awareness, and this awareness it always be there for the experience. We identify with the experience that it's happening in the now. But when we happening in the now, those experiences they're no longer in the present. They are of a time, and it tries to teach us that we are not a time. We are not the mind. So when we identify with the mind, that's a suffering. That's where a pain exists. And chapter 2 of the book, it teaches us how can we get out, how can we, consciousness arise out of the pain of our suffering, pain of our trauma, pain of a lack, because only things that it's a mind, it feels like it's lacking certain things because it's a personality, and personality it needs certain characteristics to identify or classify it as a personality that we are. But when we live in the present moment, in the now, I think that chapter of the book that it teaches us how can we deepen our state of consciousness in the now. How can we come in a more awareness of the present, or just be in a flow with the now, not judging, letting go, just to be free, just to experience the present moment fully. We're not disturbed by the mind. We're dissolving the mind. We're not being absorbed by the mind that it wants us to be this particular way. It wants us to live this particular way. It says it has this certain perception about itself. It can appreciate the present and adapt to the changes, but it always complain there's too much negativity when you're living from that state. And the chapter 4 is the mind strategy to avoid the now, and chapter 5 is the state of present. Chapter 6 is the inner body. So when you talk about the mind strategy, that is avoiding the now, there's core delusions. The mind it creates this personality that I'm talking about. There's delusions that the mind create. It's like tactics that it's using to take us from the present moment to the mind. It can depend by the thought. We can be thinking particular thought, and it depends more when you're meditating. The mind it projects certain thoughts that we're gonna be aware of those thoughts, and we can be absorbed in that thought and starting to live from those thoughts, from things that we don't want. These are type of the strategy that minds create. But we can get to the state of present. I said this the chapter 5, and the chapter 6 is the inner body. So in the inner body, that's where the present it's happening. By the time when I started meditating and I figured it out, there's too much that I've been identifying myself with, but I get exposed to the power of now, and then I don't just get absorbed in the personality, or I don't expect. I just accept what's happening and go with the flow. This is the reality, or I live from the inner body. Then the Buddha awakened within myself, and I start seeing like I'm not limited perception of myself, that I've been thinking that this is who I am or this is what I want to be. Life is unfolding. There's a physical manifestation that is appearing from my thought that I've been programmed, or I can reprogram those thoughts. I can always have chance to create the person that I want to be. There's infinite chance and abundance when you're living in the present moment. So you talk about chapter 7 about parts, the portals into the unmanifested. So there's always a power that is not manifested, that when we live in the present moment, we're starting to awaken ourselves to certain personality, if we want to call them the personality, but those are the mind. But when you get in the when we are like we have our chakras that are aligned, so we can align these chakras, and these are the portals that they serve, that can bring us more in the present state. We can live by the yoga, prayers. There's there's different type of consciousness, or awareness, concentration, or we can choose. But today we're talking about the now. When all of these things, they need like the engagement of the now. So when we're living in the now, we're tapping into unmanifested state, and we can enlighten our relationship. There's a relationship, our relationship, like there's less of drama that is happening in our life, because relationship are filled with dramas, filled with differences. We get to the state where we this an understanding between the relationship. We have a relationship that is healthy, and there's a beyond happiness and unhappiness. There is peace. So basically, what he's saying in the this beyond peace and beyond happiness, where we feel the state of samadhi. We just aware. We living in the awareness. When we're living in samadhi, we don't judge nothing that is happening, which is good or which is bad. We just be there, like with that awareness that is everything. It's passing by. There's a life. It's living through life. It's sparking. It's the light of life. So everything that is happening, it's just happening in the now. There's no judgment. There's no attachment. It's just the flow of time. So the last chapter of the book talks about the meaning of surrender. When you talk about the meaning of surrender, we're talking about the letting go. In order for us to be in the now, we got to be present, and we got to let go of all the obstacles, the constipation. There's no future, there's no past, everything is just happening in the now. The life is happening right here in the now. All our needs, all our thoughts, all our desire are happening in the now. There's nothing that we can achieve if we're living in the now. These are the most peaceful state of life that I've ever experienced. It's the best state. You can try all the drugs, but you can never have a chance with the power of now. It's a natural state where a mind it's healthy. A mind is not being obstacles by any stimulates or any thoughts that can come. The thought is it's mild. There's a surrender. There's a letting go of all the situation. Letting go of all what we think, who we think we have been, all the identity that we have been given ourselves. When we get in the power of now, it's like when you're meditating. A person we take the state of meditation and brought it back. That's why on this new book we call it a new earth. On a new earth, we're taking the life. The life it's happening in the now. We stepping in a new heaven. The new life it's unfolding. The present, the samadhi, the state of higher beings, the state of higher awareness. No obstacles, no constipation. We just in the flow. We're just living. There's no obstacles, man. Everything is just happening in the now. We're just guided. We are, our life is guided meditation by this now. When we're living in the now, we are awakening ourselves to the new entity of who we are. We have been that particular, and it's just the awareness, which is infinity. Like this, it's filled with possibility. The more when we read books, there's more understanding. When we do our creativity, there's more craft in it. There's more art in it. It just needs you to meditate on a daily. You can wake up and meditating and free your mind so that you can be more absorbed in the power of now, in the present state, in the present awareness. this is what the book is about. So this is just the summary. Please go and buy this book, and you can subscribe to get more content about what's happening in this, the power of now. When you're living in the power of now, there's no blockage. The life is just, it's just blissful. The life we become graceful of. We are letting go. We are filled with acceptance. There's no things that can stand in our mind. Thought doesn't identify that. They don't have meaning to us anymore. We're just living our fullest life, man. Have a beautiful day. Have a lovely life. Thank you.